Hi, this is Laura at Ribbon and Bows Oh My. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Shamrock Ribbon Sculpture Hairclip. So you're going to need 6 pieces of 3-inch grosgrain ribbon, 3/8 inch width. Now I would have had 6 pieces, but I went ahead and made one of our little heart-shaped leaves, but you're going to need 6 of these strips. One strip that's 2.5 inches long, a matching strip that is 7 inches long for your covered alligator clip, 6 inches of hot pink 3/8 inch saddle stitch, and then a 1/8 piece of hot pink 3/8 inch saddle stitch in order to make your little bow. And you'll need glue gun, scissors, needle and thread, and at least one other alligator clip. I like to use this open double prong. So let's get started. Your shamrock is actually 3 little heart-shaped leaves that are really easy to make. Each leaf is made with 2 pieces of ribbon. So this is the first one. I'm going to show you how to make this. So take 2 of your pieces that are 3 inches long and start with one end, place a little dot of glue, and then overlap one end right over the other, making sure that the cut edge of this piece runs parallel to the sewn edge of the piece it's overlapping. Now turn that V towards you, pick it up, and then place a dot of glue right next to the one that you placed, a little bit over, because you're going to take this top edge and just fold it right over and down so it rests beside the first piece you glued and creates a loop. Now that's the left ear of your heart. So turning this over so it's a little bit easier, you're going to take your free end and just go through the loop that you made. Now place the dot of glue to show you. Now place that free end just right there on top of that loop. And there you go. That is your heart-shaped leaf. Now, one way to know that you've gotten this leaf exactly the way that you want it is to look down here and make sure that you've created a square. These overlapped ribbons should knock out pretty much a perfect square. That's how you know that your cut edges are touching the sewn edges of the grosgrain beneath it. And I've said this before, but it's definitely true, and I'll say it again. Symmetry and attention to detail are what make ribbon sculpture so fantastic. So you really just can't be careful enough. So I'm going to show you one more time how to do this. I'm going to make our third leaf right here. Dot of glue. I'm going to go end to end and make the point of my heart-shaped leaf, just like that. Point the point towards me and put a little dot of glue to the right of that first one. And then just fold this little guy down on top. Not overlapping, but just right to the side of it. I'm going to come through my loop. There's a little dot of glue right here. And then just weave this guy through. Just like that. I'm going to hold this in place and let my glue dry. Now, a quick tip. When you are cutting your 6 pieces that you're going to use for your heart-shaped leaves, do your best to make these edges as straight as possible, because that's what's going to give your shamrock that woven look in the center. So now we're going to place our first leaf on our stem. This is our shamrock stem. This little piece right here. Going to go to the top and about 1/8 of an inch down, put a little dot of glue, And then take what I consider to be my best looking leaf, because the most of this leaf is going to show. I'm going to place him down so that the point is pointing right down the vertical center of our stem. That's how we know that our top leaf is centered. It looks like he just grew right out of the top of that stem. Now I'm going to take this unit that I've made and put it on top of my alligator clip. Now my flat edge is down on my cutting board and my opening edge is pointing towards the right. I'm going to put a dot of glue a little bit over towards the left past the center, because I want to make sure that I have enough room to pinch open my alligator clip when I have my whole sculpture on top. So I'm going to place my sculpture now on top of that dot of glue and push him down really good. And I just want to make sure that I've got my leaf over my ribbon sculpture. I don't want it to be entirely stem, otherwise I'm not going to have a place to put glue in order to place my other leaves. So you just want to make sure that the tip is over this edge of your covered alligator clip. Now if you don't know how to cover an alligator clip, just hang on to the end of the tutorial and I'll show you how to do it. So I'm going to put more glue right here on the side to the right, and then I'm going to take my next heart-shaped leaf and just match point to point and push him down. And you want to look at your ribbon sculpture and make sure that this edge is a continuous line. And then to finish him up, put more glue on the left side of my alligator clip. I'm not putting any on top of my leaves. And then I'm going to come back in here and match point to point. Just push him down and make sure I get that good seal. So there is your clover shape. Now you can stop here, maybe add a little bit of bling right there to the center if you want to, or you can add a little bow. And I think the little bow is really sweet. Gets a little bit of pink on here, looks really good. So this is super easy. After you've made your little bow, and if you hold on to the end of the tutorial, I'll show you how to do that as well. Just put a little dot of glue right here on the stem, not on top of your leaves, and then just center your bow right there. And just make sure your knot is running parallel to your stem. That's how you'll know that you've got your bow right where you want it to be. And there you go. I love the way this looks. I think I'm going to trim the end just a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so, and then I'll need to reseal it just so this little edge doesn't unfurl. And there you go. That is a finished Shamrock Ribbon Sculpture Hairclip. So now if you are not familiar with wrapping an alligator clip, I'll show you real quick. You're going to take 7 inches of 3/8 inch grosgrain, and then an alligator clip. You can use single or double prong. Open it up, start at the back, put glue along each side of the opening to the tip, and then take your 3/8 inch, just feed it right in there and press it down and smooth it. Flip them over. Glue from one end to the next, and then going from one tip to the next. See, I'm not pushing down yet. I'm just making sure that I get this straight on top. I'm going to stretch from one tip to the end, and then I'm going to press down. Now opening him up and clipping him to my thumbnail, I'm going to do the same thing. Glue from one end to the other, and then stretching from one end to the other, and then smoothing down. Make sure that's dry before you open it back up, because you don't want to pull it out of place. Now I think this might be just a little bit too long, so I'm going to trim maybe 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to open up my alligator clip to finish. Just go to that exposed bit of metal right there, put a strip of glue, and then smooth that last bit down over the glue. Give it a good pinch. So again, that is about 7 inches of 3/8 inch grosgrain, and not my finest alligator clip, but that is the idea. And now, if you've never made a little bow before, this is pretty easy. It does involve a little bit of sewing, but there's a reason for it. It's kind of a tiny bow, so you don't necessarily want to put a whole lot of glue in it. It'll look real bulky. So it is worth it, just that little bit extra time just to sew. So I'm going to take about 6 inches of my 3/8 inch ribbon. I'm going to create an awareness loop, and then I'm just going to open it up a little bit more so it's much wider than an awareness loop. And I want my legs to be the same length and a little bit wider if possible than my top loop. I'm going to pinch it right here and take my top loop, what I think is about the center. I'm going to bring it right down over my pinch and maybe just pull my little loops into place a little bit. And then, this doesn't have to be totally precise, but you know, it's pretty small, so I want it to look good. I don't really have a whole lot of room to make a mistake. Okay, that looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to clip it with my double prong alligator clip right through the center. And then I take my needle and thread and just weave out, in and out, just a couple of times. You can also do this with a fork. If you check out our tips and tutorial pages where this video will be hosted, you can also find a tutorial for how to make a little bow with a fork. It's pretty cute and it's very easy. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to pull this a little bit. It's not super strong thread, as I found out, so I'm not going to pull too much. I think I'm going to just start wrapping right around the middle, just like you would with your boutique bow or your pinwheel bow. You want to wrap that knot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull them off. Make sure I've got a good wrap. Maybe go around 1 or 2 more times. And like I said, it's a pretty small bow. You could glue all of this together, but it might look a little bit bulky. It might not have that real sweet, small look. So now I'm just going to tie off my needle and thread, trim it, and then take my 1-inch piece, find the back of my bow. I think this is the back of my bow. Put a little dotted glue right here. Put this 1-inch piece right there, and that'll dry pretty quickly. That's a small amount of glue. Wrap it around to make my knot. Just look to the front and make sure I like the way that looks, and I do. So I think I'm going to glue it before I trim it. Just going to hold it in place, go in with my glue, put a little bit of glue, and then trim this edge. And there we go. 6 inches of 3/8 inch grosgrain, probably less than 1 inch of the matching grosgrain for the knot, and then a double prong alligator clip, needle and thread, scissors, and a glue gun, and you've got a little bitty bow. So if you want to check out all of these shamrocks that we've made, you can go to ribbonsandbowsonmy.com and click on tips and tutorials, and you'll see closer up pictures of all of these. Maybe you want to do something a little bit different and you want a good idea of what these all look like. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have the best St. Patrick's Day.